An amazing day. As always, I'm going to be going over the S&P 500 E-mini futures for Wednesday, June 11th. I don't have my buy and sell orders on today. I started off trading really well and ended up kind of having a bit of a learning day. I broke even on the day, but I started revenge trading. But I'll get into that a little earlier. But there's no point to show my buy and sell orders today. And I just want to go through kind of, I think, the best trades of the day rather than the ones that I necessarily took. As always, the markouts, purple previous day high, and then pre-market high, pre-market low, yeah, as you guys know. And then as always, shout out to Al Brooks. Of course, will be down below, and a huge shout out to my mentor, Troy H. So we kind of get a big push down to start off the day. There's a lot of news with trade and stuff today, so it was very volatile. But you get kind of two pushes down to start off the day. It looks like a lot of traders maybe get trapped and people are buying up on 4. And then you get two pushes up, 6, 7, 1, pullback, two pushes up, 8 through 12. And then it kind of fizzles out, as you can see here. I took a small trade in here for 5 points. Probably not the best trade, to be honest, but you get two pushes up and it kind of fizzles out. Not having a super strong momentum to continue being bullish, definitely with the start of the day being so bearish. 20 then collapses. Both the bulls and bears are fighting. The bulls finally give up and 20 gets a good drop down. And you can kind of see on the wick of 21, maybe bears from earlier this morning were able to get out break even after scaling in or get out with a very small loss. So then you get a huge reversal. But now it still seems like even though the bears maybe just got out of their trades from earlier in the day, that this is probably not a second leg up in the 15-minute chart for the bulls. Definitely once you see 24 and then 25 close below the EMA. I thought that this 20 push down could get a second leg, or even that 20 and then through 22 could reset the leg count. So I think a really good trade here that my partner took and made an absolute killing on was that once you see the close of 24 with a great micro gap, kind of where the momentum's going, and then 25 closes below the EMA, you could sell the close. You'd sit through a little bit of a loss on 26, about 2 or 3 points, and then it would dump down. You'd get very close to a 10-point profit. Then you get a kind of more of a pullback, thinking maybe this is reset the leg count. If you sat through that, you could have ripped down. You could have made over 15 points, even closer to 19. So I kind of see it as this resetting the leg count, and then 23 through 28 is leg 1. Pullback on 29, pullback failure on 30, second leg down. And now you have 3 or 2, arguably 3, or you could say 2 pushes down. And it seems very exhausted. It keeps on pushing down. It's kind of at the bottom of this range. You think that it might respect the wick of 4. So it gets a really strong reversal up on 36. And today, I actually had the hypothesis in mind that it had already gotten 3 pushes down. It was probably going to try to fill some of these micro gaps from above. So I actually hopped in on this trade. I bought the close of 36. It has very strong IBS, a huge micro gap, just a huge momentum mover. And maybe it was a little premature. I think the better move was to wait for the pullback of 38 and then confirmation on 39, and you could have made 10 points there. But instead, I got in a little early on 36, sat through a bit of a pullback, then saw the confirmation on 39, scaled in for a second contract, thinking this was at least going to get a couple pushes up. It got a couple pushes up and then pushes through the EMA. Like I said, I had my take profit at this micro gap up here, right here, right at the top of this micro gap. So that's exactly where my take profit was. And once I saw bar 45, I'd seen now that this was 1 pullback, 2 pullback, 3 pushes up. So I was very hesitant to not take full profit there, but I exited out of one of my contracts there to secure 5 points. So I was then up 10 on the day. And then this is where I had a little lapse in judgment, which is something that I learned from. I'm never going to do again. But once I saw 46 close bullish, I scaled in again on 46, thinking that I was definitely going to hit my take profit zone. It really tried. Unfortunately, I was one tick off, and this kind of affected the rest of my trades. As you guys can see, I was literally one tick off hitting my full take profit, which would have been over 20 points. And with scaling in again after partially closing, which I'll never do again, and I would suggest nobody do. If you're going to partial close, don't scale in again. It doesn't really make sense at all. I ended up just getting out break even once this kind of dumped below the EMA. So I was up 10 on the day. And then as you can see, it gets a very strong reversal. Like I said, it gets three, actually, I think four pushes up. So now this is very, very exhausted. You get one, pull back two, pull back three, pull back four. Extremely exhausted at the top of 48. Then you kind of get a very good reversal on 49 with a great micro gap. Pushes through the EMA. And then you're still thinking maybe this might be a pullback on the 15-minute chart for the bulls because this whole entire push up was a bar. But I think once you see 52, you kind of know that this is now a full reversal. This is a great close. Very, very good close on its high, strong IBS. And I think you could look at 53 as kind of a pullback failure. It tries to pull back, completely fails. So if you sold the close of 53, which is actually what I did as well, you could have made, at least 20 points. I only made 5, which was unfortunate, but it is what it is. Actually, and forgive me, but when I said that I sold my contract again here, I actually lost 5 points. I didn't get out break even. So I was only up 5 on the day, and then I made 5 here, so I was up 10. So I sold here, made 5 on this bar, should have stayed in, would have been able to make over 25, over 20. And then this is where I had a really big lapse in judgment. Usually when you want to see a trend reversal, you want to see at least a couple bars. I thought 56 was very strong. I thought it was at the bottom of the range. It rejected off the pre-market low. You get a really strong reversal bar. So I got in on 56. I bought it. Right when I bought it, I knew that it was a bad trade. So I got stopped out very quickly on 57. That bar collapsed very, very fast. And then I think I was just in my head from losing the 5 points on this earlier trade when I missed my take profit by a tick. I actually would have been done for the day if I would have made that trade. So I think at this point I was kind of in like revenge mode. I was now break even on the day. So I just made a couple stupid mistakes. I think I reversed a position and ended up being able to break even luckily a couple times. But after that, I realized that I needed to be done for the day, that my mental judgment wasn't quite there anymore. Like I said, after missing that really good trade by a tick, I think it really affected my mental trading game. But getting back into this, you get 2 pushes down for the bulls on a trend reversal, and then kind of a good pullback. This is a 15-minute chart pullback, and you can see it really rejects the EMA, and the 15-minute bears get another leg down. So my hypothesis wasn't terrible on 56. I just kind of didn't get there quite enough. If I would have just waited and held through, I could have probably scaled in and or scalped in and made 5 points on this push up. But then once you see the rejection off the EMA and 65 has a very strong micro gap, I think it was a smart trade to sell the close of 65, thinking that this, if you're looking at the 15-minute chart, this is one leg down, pull back to about 35-40% level, and then second leg. So you could have easily made at least 10 points. And then I'm making it kind of earlier today, so there's still about 30 minutes, but I don't trade the last 30 minutes anyway. But yeah, that was my quick analysis of today. Shout out to Albrook, shout out to Troy H, and I will be back again with another video. Thank you guys for watching if you made it to the end of this video. Bye.